We're on chapter 6 of the Megillah. Books out, please. Chapter you found on page 17 in your books.
We finished 5.
We did finish 5, yeah. That's right. Haman prepares to hang Mordechai. He makes this large 8 of 50 amot. I'm going to leave that to you, actually. You know what? I'll make you some extra credit. If somebody can find out the connection between the 50 amot of the tree, the 8s, the gallows that was set up for Mordechai's hanging, and somewhere else we see this 50 amot, this 50 cubit high 8s set up somewhere in preparation. It's not the only time and place that we see it. Okay, so what's happening now? So remember, what was the plan of Esther, somebody? What was the plan of Esther? Because it's actually taking effect right now. What was the plan of Esther? What?
Rabbi, I think I know.
Oh.
Ahasuerus was jealous.
No.
Rabbi, I think I know the 50 amot.
Go on.
Absalom,
No.
when he was hanged.
No.
No?
Was it the tree that Moshe saw?
Nope. It's tricky. It's tricky. There's actually an original piece of wood that existed at that length somewhere else
Oh, wait.
and was
Was it
taken.
the ladder?
Are you Googling it?
Of course I am.
Was
How
it the
else am I
ladder?
supposed to know it?
Did you look that up?
No, I swear. Look
You
at
didn't?
it.
What is
Wow, well done.
Can't you see that?
Very good.
What is it?
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark on Har Ararat, Mount Ararat, had a piece, the Torah tells us the measurement, and it was taken from there, and it was used very good. And the other way you can do it without Googling is like look in the Torah, go through it, think about it, speak
It
down.
says here when Michelle
Oh, that's what it says.
Te lo juro, o sea, te lo juro.
Okay.
Rabbi, where did you see it?
In the Ark of Noah. Well done. Look at you, how'd you get that? You know what? You remembered it. Kol hakavod. Well done. Okay, so the plan was that Esther was trying to make a crazy plan to make Ahasuerus jealous that her and Haman were in a relationship and trying to overtake his kingdom together. Okay? So with that in his mind, it's a small seed. It wasn't explicit. It was a seed of a doubt, of a thought. But right now, something's going to happen which is going to explode that whole theory right in his face. And it happens like this. Chapter 6. B'laylahu, on this night, Nadadash Natamelach, the king could not sleep at all. He was restless. Now, we already know that Hamelach refers to Achashverosh or Hashem God. So there's 2 ways to read this verse as well. One is that Achashverosh was sleepless in Shushan. Good name for a book, that. Or even a movie. He was sleepless in Shushan. He could not sleep. Another one is that Hashem himself was restless. Hashem does not sleep, obviously, right? God does not sleep. However, God was sleepless at the thought that the Jewish people were about to be killed. So he was, as it were, awakened. Hashem himself was awakened by the thought that this decree was going to wipe out the entire Jewish people. However, Pashtus is, it is Achashverosh. Yes, you have something related to this? Yeah.
So how is the 50 amot no?
Okay, not right now. Balayla that was nothing to do with this. Shas HaMelech vayom alavi sefer zichronot. He says, bring me the book of remembrances. What book is this? The book of remembrances. So if you remember, there was a book that was written in, that said what?
That he owes him one.
That he owes him one. It was a favor saving his life from Big Son and Teresh. So he says, bring me this book. Why would he want this book read to him? So it used to be a custom that when great people could not sleep, they would have their avadim, their slave servants, read for them to give them to sleep. Right? Now, God bless you. People used to, nowadays people watch TV or whatever they do. In those days, they would have someone read from a book, and that will lull them into a sleepy state. So the book that was chosen was the Sefer Zichronot, the book of remembrances, the book of things I owe people. Now, one opinion is that this was a very unusual thing. Usually the king slept like a baby. Not the baby sleep right through the night, but slept very, very well. The fact that he had insomnia that night and could not sleep started to worry him. And he was thinking, you know what? Maybe there's something going on in my kingdom that is actually subconsciously keeping me up. So he said, bring me the book to see if I owe anybody any favors, that maybe there's something that's happening right now that I should be dealing with, which actually was very, very true. And they brought the Sefer Zichronot, Divrei Yamim, V'yu Nikraim L'fnei HaMelech. You see, the Nikraim was common for kings to have these speeches done for them when they slept. The kings would lie down, or great people, and people would read for them stories, and that's exactly what happened. And what did it say? It turned to the page that says that there was a guy called Mordechai, one of your advisors, a great person in the kingdom, who you owe a favor to, right? Because he was the one who saved you, right? V'higid Asher Mordechai al Bigtan of Ateresh Shnei Sarasi HaMelech. These two people who worked for you, he killed them. You were able to kill them because you listened to his advice. Vayomer HaMelech Ma naseh yakar gadul Mordechai al zeh. What can I do to honor Mordechai about saving my life? I realize I owe him something. Maybe that's the reason I'm not settled and not sleeping well. I have this favor that is owed to somebody else, and I've got to do something about it. Okay, we're in verse 3. Vayomer Nari HaMelech b'sharatav Lo naseh modavai. You didn't do anything for him. You know, you actually owe him. You owe him for what was done to you. Now, they didn't do this because they loved Mordechai. They actually did this because they hated Haman. Haman was actually a very hated character right through the palace. He was torturing people and just fomenting a lot of hatred. People despised him. So they realized that they wanted to get Mordechai up in order to push Haman down. All of a sudden, who turned now? What time of the day or night is this? Middle of the night. It's late at night, right? Because he's trying to sleep, but he can't sleep. Would you expect one of your advisors to come visit you in the middle of the night? No. You wouldn't expect that. Who's turning up right now? Haman is turning up. Why is he turning up right now? Because his wife, Zeresh, if you remember, said to him, go and tell Achashverosh you want to go kill Mordechai. You want to make this big gallows and you want to kill Mordechai. Go, run, do it now. He listens to his wife, who gave him very bad advice, and he runs to the palace in the middle of the night. What state should have Achashverosh been in? He should have been asleep. He should have been asleep, but he's awake. So now Haman's going to turn up, and Achashverosh is awake, and he thinks to himself, 1 second, why exactly is he coming in now when I'm asleep? Why would he do that?
He was with Esther.
So he starts to arouse his suspicions that maybe Haman had turned up to assassinate him. That's what happens over here. Let's have a look inside. V'yomer melech mi b'chatzer. Here's a noise in the chatzer. V'haman b'lachatzer beit hamelech hachitzonit lemor lemelech letotav Mordechai. He actually came to tell Mordechai he's going to be ala eitz asher hechin lo, to tell him about this big gallows, this 50 amot gallows, 50 cubit gallows that he had set up to hang him. It says asher hechin lo. How can you read that differently? Asher hechin lo. This is important. To himself. You see? This is another example, my friends, of midah keneged midah. Right? Measure for measure. We're going to see this theme come up many, many times. Because the gallows which Haman set up to hang Mordechai, it says Asher Hechin Lo. Actually, he set it up to hang himself. He was actually creating his own. At the end of verse 4, it says Asher Hechin Lo, that he had prepared for him. The Asher Hechin Lo, you can read him meaning Mordechai. You can actually read it to say he had prepared to actually hang himself on it. It was actually set up to hang Haman himself. So it's measure for measure. He wanted to kill him this way, he got killed the same way. It bounced back. This is a theme we're going to see later on. But if we go through it, you see it happens again and again and again. What you want to do to others, do to yourself. Vashti used to torture people on Shabbat. Remember that? She was killed on Shabbat. Okay, backwards and forwards. It's always it's a constant theme, yeah.
You said that Achashverosh thought that Haman was coming to kill
Right,
him.
because it's the middle of the night. He should have been asleep. He happened to have insomnia that night. He should have been asleep. He's like, why is this guy coming to visit me in the night? And he already had some seeds of doubt about Haman's real fidelity towards him, his real servitude towards him. And now it's like, well, now, you know what? Something's going on with this Haman character. Okay? Yeah. Not yet. He's going to. The gallows that he set up is eventually going to kill him. It's coming though. Don't you worry. Vayomeru nari hamelech alav. Haman is come b'chatzer, and he's come in. Vayomer Haman, vayomer lo hamelech. Aha. It's going to be testing. What do you suggest I should do to honor somebody that did me a great favor? Who does Haman, the egotistical maniac, think Achashverosh is talking about? Himself. Right? Asher hamelech chafetz bi'ikaro, vayomer Haman belibo, and Haman said in his heart. This, says the Gemara, by the way, is one of the proofs that this book of Esther was written with Ruach HaKodesh, with a guide spirit, with a heavenly spirit, with Hashem's help, because how do they know what Haman's thinking? No human could do that. So the Gemara says this is one of the proofs that when this book was written by Mordechai and Esther, they were granted Ruach HaKodesh to actually know what people were thinking at various times in the story. Right? Haman Belibo, because he was thinking this in his own heart. And he says, well, who else is going to honor more than me? Okay? It's got to be that I'm the one he's actually talking about. So what does he do? Now he does another fatal mistake. Look at the advice he gives him, and you'll see that he's feeding into Esther's plan. Every moment he's feeding into her plan. Turns up in the middle of the night, and then he says, verse 8, V'yaviu lavush malchut, let him wear the clothing of royalty. Oh goodness. Right? So what's he saying? And how Achashverosh is aware that he thinks he's talking about himself. He's like, let him put on royal clothing. There's the clothing again, by the way.
Wait, who's thinking?
Haman is thinking in his own mind, it must be me he's talking about.
Achashverosh?
Achashverosh realizes that maybe thinks he's talking about himself. He's actually referring to Mordechai, but he's aware that Haman is actually thinking about himself. He wants to test him a little bit to see really what's his plan. And look at his plan. Lavash bar melech, let him put on royal clothing. In other words, I'm the one. Put royal clothing on me. Lavash bar melech v'sus asher rachav alav hamelech, and the horse that has Vasher nitan ketel malchu barosho. Let him put a crown on his head. So now, Achashverosh sees this guy Haman. He wants to wear my royal clothing. He wants to wear my crown. You know what? My suspicions are being verified. He's out to kill me, get rid of me. Esther and him have something going on with each other, right? And he wants to put a crown on my head. Some say no, the crown wasn't on his head. It was actually a crown on the horse's head, because one of the signs of a king is that they put on fancy crowns and stuff on the, which they actually do to this day, on the horses that parade them through the town. Okay, that's what he says. And as you're walking through the city, and you should say, this is how people are treated who want to honor the king. This is how it should be done. So Haman is like, this is amazing. Now I'm going to be paraded. Everyone's going to know how powerful I am, how special I am, and how the king wants me. Maher, quickly. Take the clothing. There it is again. Vetasus, and the horse, that you said. Vasakain, Lemordechai, Hayehudi, Hayoshe, Vishar Hamelech. Do exactly what you just said, precisely to Mordechai, the Jew, who's sitting at the gates. Well, why do you have to give such specific information? Just say Mordechai. Everyone knows who Mordechai was. Right? He knows who it is. Because Haman was in that. He couldn't believe it. He says, Mordechai. He's like, which Mordechai? The Jewish Mordechai. He goes, there's more than one Jewish Mordechai, the one that sits at the entrance to the gates. That's what we're talking about. Don't even think about flipping it with some other Mordechai and say, oh, I thought you meant Mordechai Cohen, right? And not Mordechai Yemini, the Benjamin. Don't even think about making a flip. That's the guy, the Jew, at the entrance of the gates. That's the person I wanted to do it to. Right? And don't al tapel davar mikol shedabarta. And don't change a single part of the plan. Don't downgrade it. You put on the items, you put on the crown, exactly as you want to do to yourself, you do to Mordechai. There it is again, Mida Keneg Mida. You want it done this way, it's going to bounce right back onto Mordechai. Vayikach Haman et halavush v'tasus. He did exactly what he meant to do. Vayilvash es Mordechai. And what did he do? Vayirkiveru b'rachov ha'ir. He walked him through the center of the city for everyone to see. So everyone now sees Mordechai in his fancy clothing being walked along by Haman. Now, the Midrash says, I think the Gemara as well says, one second, that Haman's daughter was watching this scene of the beautiful Malchut, this very rich person on the horse, and the other person just dragging him along in ordinary clothing. She thought, who was being marched on the horse? It must be my father. And the guy marching him is actually Mordechai, but she was wrong. It was Ben Hafach, it was the other way around. She took out her chamber pot,
What's chamber pot?
her toilet, which used to be a portable thing, used to keep, right? The chamber pot, the thing they used to make in, with her refuse, her own waste in it. The toilet, shrutim. And she took it
How
They didn't have toilets.
because there wasn't indoor plumbing. It was a little vessel used to keep under the bed, used to make into it. She took it out and out the window and she dumped it on the head of who she thought was Mordechai, was actually Haman. Then she saw her father, who was now covered in her own feces, look up at her, and she was so distraught. She'd done this, she threw herself out of the window and killed herself. This is the beginning of the downfall. This is a midrash. Not Zeresh, Zeresh is the wife. She's still alive, one of his daughters. You'll see in a second, there'll be a word to tell you that actually Haman after this goes into mourning. Right? This is how people are treated. Right after this whole event, Mordechai could be like, oh, look at me, I'm Mr. Fancy. He doesn't do that. He takes off his royal clothing, he puts back on his clothing of, his clothing of mourning. Because remember, he's wearing sackcloth and ashes, and he goes back to the exact position he was in before. He doesn't take this as a personal elevation. He goes back to exactly what was before, crying and mourning over, right? But Haman, Nidchaf, Haman is now extremely upset, very sad. El Beito Avel v'chafui rosh. He is now an Avel. What's an Avel? He's a mourner. He's now mourning over the death. This is Haman. So now Mordechai is mourning over the decree which has not been revoked. That decree is still there. That's going to be very important. And Haman is now in mourning over his daughter. V'chafui rosh. And his face is covered.
Or he's mourning about what he just died, dead.
That's what's true. It could be.
So do we need to know that?
Yeah, so the Midrash talks about it. V'yisaper Haman l'zeresh ishto. He goes back. He tells his wife the whole story. Ulachol avav, and all his loved ones. Et kol asher karahu. Remember that word? Karahu. What is this karahu? Come on, remember this. Come on. Karahu. Everything that happened now, not happened. Happenstance. What's happenstance?
Random.
It's all random. He told everything that happens. He doesn't see any plan in this. He doesn't realize that something's going on and maybe the Jewish God is now taking their side. He thinks this is a strange range of coincidences that happen to happen. He doesn't even see the hand of God running through the story. We're expected to. But he is Mr. Karahu. He's Mr. Look at this weird thing that, can you believe what happened? It's just random coincidence. That is Haman, that is a Malik. You can't get that out of him. Yeah, Lindsay.
What does Kara mean?
It happened. Kara, everything that happened to him. But we're saying it's more, right? Because we've said that Haman comes from a Malik, and a Malik was all Kara Chabaderach. Stuff just happens. There's no hand of God making it happen, just random. So he can't even see that something's happening. But now even his own family sees it. Look at this. Right? Vayomru lo chachamav v'zeresh ishto. The wise people are going to tell him something. They're about to tell him, you know what? This isn't good. Don't go ahead with your plan. Bring it all down. Change everything. Don't kill Mordechai. Why are they called the wise people? So the Gemara says, when someone gives you good advice, they become wise. They become your wise advisors. Listen to people. Listen to people. That's why suddenly his family and his loved ones become his chachmav, become his wise people. Right, that's what it says. He went to speak to his wife and family and friends, and suddenly, you know what? They gave him wise advice. He actually could have possibly listened to it, but he didn't. Right? Because he didn't get a chance.
What was the advice?
The advice we're going to see right now. They said, listen, if he's from Jewish, this Mordechai is from Jewish blood. Mordechai asher ichalito l'polofanav lo t'chal bo. It's not going to work. Ki nafol tipolofanav. You're definitely, there it is, double lashon. Nafol tipol. You're definitely going to fall in front of him. It's not going to work. You're going to go down from this. He's actually high, and when they go up, nothing get in the way. Right? Their ascendancy is about to happen. You're now going down. It's all over. They said to him, don't kill Mordechai. Keep him alive. Don't kill the Jewish people.
Haman's family said that?
Yes. Haman's family. They figured it out. That's why the Chachmav.
Wasn't Sarah also bad?
She was terrible, but she didn't want her family to die. She saw a daughter had died. She didn't want them to die. Right? While they're still speaking, so we don't even know what Haman would have done in normal circumstances. Look at verse 14. Odam medabrim. While they're still talking, this conversation, Imo, Sarsia melech higiu, all of the people of the king came. V'yevalu lavi et Haman el hamishta asher asta Esther. Remember the second feast that they were invited to? Remember the first feast? Esther ran and said, come to another feast, lachem, for you and Achashverosh. If we had a chance to do anything, he's grabbed and pulled. This is Esther makes the events go quickly now. Everything goes slow, and then suddenly, bang! It's quick. It all turns around. Right? Yeshua Hashem Kerifine. When the redemption comes, it comes in the blink of an eye. Hashem can turn things around quickly. So Haman is at the highest point, and right now on the same day he's going to fall. Look at verse chapter 7.
I'm not understanding at all.
Oh, you're going too fast.
Yeah. So what's going on right now?
So now the conversation's been had between Haman and his family. They're like, don't kill Mordechai. Our daughter's dead. You're an Avelut. Mordechai was raised up on the horse. It's not going to work. Don't do it. He's about to make a decision. We don't know what his decision is going to be on the advice he gets from the wise people. As he's talking, it says, while he's talking, they come along to take Haman to the second feast that Esther had set up for Haman and Achashverosh and herself. Because remember, they went to a first feast and now the second one. So that's where we are. So the seventh chapter is about to open up with this feast about to happen. Sarah, relates to what we're saying?
Yeah.
Hit me.
It is. Okay. So I'm just wondering, the part where Esther leaves Haman, that didn't happen yet. Why are we all of a sudden congratulating Mordecai? I'm very confused with that.
Because Mordecai was offered a favor for saving his life. Haman turns around and turns up the palace. Achashverosh comes forward, realizes something's going on, says, you honor Mordecai. He's starting to suspect Haman and starts to push him down. Okay? During the whole episode, whatever happens, and he marches him through the streets. Based upon that and the death of his daughter, his wife and family say, don't kill Mordecai. He's going up now and you're going down.
Wait, so
While this is still happening, they take him to the second feast.
Esther didn't bleed from
But it
No,
happened.
no, hasn't happened. The second feast hasn't happened yet.
So
The
it happened
second
on the
feast has
same
not
day?
happened yet. He's being taken to the second feast.
But it happens on the same. I mean,
So the
what? It
first
was like
thing
an
was
hour
the
horse ride, and that's it. Like what? What?
Whatever this was, I don't know, but it happened quickly.
So-
Right after the ride.
But it doesn't make sense that Achashverosh, if Haman was grieving.
Yeah.
Grieving?
Grieving, yes.
Yeah, on his daughter. Why would Achashverosh take him to a feast?
Lach batla. Yeah, my father, it was Esther's feast. She made the plan already. Yeah.
What?
What do they care? Lach batla.
He's mourning.
Doesn't matter. You think they care? Yeah.
So the horse thing was like a test to see if Haman.
A little bit.
So
A little
why-
bit was a test. The horse thing was, he wanted to see what was Haman's plan. And Haman throws in royalty and crowns, and he's like,
Ahasuerus didn't know that Haman wanted to kill Mordecai, right?
that's coming.
But
But
he
you
didn't-
avoid. No, he didn't get shot. He didn't tell him yet. I didn't tell him right.
You said
Right
he-
now he's going to find out.
So Ahasuerus just had a feeling like, oh, this guy's suspicious.
Yeah, because remember, that's all Esther's thing. She starts to throw in the suspicions, and it's just all being accentuated with this whole Keta thing. Are we together, yeah? Okay, so now we get to the second feast. It's all going to, with the second feast, it's going to all come together. It's all coming to a big crash. But now they say they sat down, so now Haman is there with Esther, and Ahasuerus started chapter 7, and over here she's eating. Why does it say that she joins them? Because in the last feast she didn't eat. She was fasting for 3 days. now she could join in with their feast.
Wait, now this is chapter 7.
Yes, Signorita.
Okay.
Vayom HaMelech al Esther gam yom hasheni, and he says to her during this Mishnah of Yayin, you tell him Mashtalatech, what is your personal request, Esther Malchut, V'neten lach, right? Or Mabakashatech, and what is your desire? Ad Chatzi Malchut Tasaf, same thing. My love for you is the same as before. You're still the Malka. She's still the Malka. He still loves her. This gives her the confidence to ask what she's about to ask. Okay? Now remember, Haman has no idea what's about to happen. He has no clue. Look at verse 3. V'tan Esther Malka. So Esther Malka says, V'tomer, im matzati chen beinecha, if I still have grace in your eyes, HaMelech, v'im al HaMelech tov, and this is good for you. In other words, what I'm going to tell you is not just good for me, it's going to be good for you as well. What I'm about to tell you is not just about me, because maybe you didn't care that much about her. So just to make sure, she says it's going to be good for you. Tinaten li nafshi, save my life. Whoa, really? Save my life? How about the life of all my people? Why did she say save my life?
It shows that she
No, because he is going to save her.
What?
It shows that she identifies with
Because he loved her.
That's coming, not yet.
No,
Right
it's
now,
because-
because he loved her. He absolutely knew, she knew that he loved her. Esther knew that Ahasuerus loved her. So you know what? He makes me like, I don't care about the Jews. He goes, but you know what? This is about me. You love me, don't you? Everything I've done for you, right? I'm the love of your life. Save me. Oh, and by the way, I got this whole family called the Jewish people who need to be saved as well. But attending nafshi b'shalati va'ami bakashti. So here's my personal request. Remember, she'elah is personal. Bakasha is more general. So she starts with save me, right? Not because she's like, oh, save me. She's like, this is me we're talking about, right? And by the way, I have a people, and they're my people. So she finally tells him, I am a Jew. Now, can you imagine Haman? Haman at this point is at the very tip top, and it all comes crashing down in an instant. He's like, oh my goodness.
He was there.
Yeah, he's in the feast, right.
No, but he
V'hamelech
was
v'haman lishtotem Esther. She's there, the first verse, he's there. She just is in front of him. She goes full metal jacket. She's going for it. Right? Now he could turn around and be like, I knew it. This Haman character, she's about to tell Haman is the one doing this. He could turn around right now and say, Haman, you're dead. And you, Esther, you're dead as well. Could easily have done that. Right? I mean, Ahasuerus was the judge, the jury, and the executioner if he wanted to. So as far as this is the piece where she could easily die in an instant. What does happen? She says, save me, save my people. Key, because. So she tries to talk him into it. They, this person, wanted to kill and to destroy and to slay me and my people. And she says, had we been sold as slaves and servants, I wouldn't have said anything. What's that? Just this Haman, he wants to kill. Well, he doesn't tell you who it is yet. This person wants to kill us. He goes, but you know what? Had we been slaves and servants, this is very important. I wouldn't have said anything. It would have been okay. But instead, he wants to kill us. What was she saying to Ahasuerus? What is she saying to Ahasuerus with this very important point?
He bought it.
Hmm?
Haman paid Ahasuerus, so essentially like he was.
Haman was paying us, but what did Haman want to do? Kill, destroy. She says this person who she hasn't identified yet wants to. I mean, he's suspicious, but it's about to be verified. He wants to kill and destroy us. Because, by the way, had we been servants and slaves, I wouldn't have said anything. What do you mean, had we been servants and slaves, I wouldn't have said anything? Why don't she throw that in? Yeah?
And that she doesn't care about like the riches and the royalty, and like she just doesn't want to die. But like she doesn't care about suffering.
Okay, but why? What was she trying to say to him? Remember, she's feeding into Ahasuerus. She's trying to get him on her
But
side.
she only bother him with the
Because
Okay,
you
I
have
wouldn't
so
have
many-
bothered you,
have so many
okay.
servants.
What?
like
You
we'll
have
serve
servants.
off a
Maybe
king.
it's like idea in his head, like in case, like.
Wait, she wouldn't have
Just
said
sounds
anything
good.
if there were servants.
She says, I wouldn't be having this conversation had they just made us servants and slaves. Instead, they want to kill us. Why does she say, had we been servants and slaves, I wouldn't have said anything? Yeah. But why? Why is she saying that?
Because they love the king.
Because
She's giving him the
she's
dollar.
telling him that this is not going to work for you. We could have been servants and slaves, and we could have made you money, right? We could have made you money. We were doing great for you. When Jews arrive in the kingdom, right, the economy's doing well, they have advisors, everything's fantastic, right? But obviously, he doesn't care about you, this person. He wants to kill us and take away your servants and slaves.
Turning it on him.
He's turning it, right? She's turning the whole thing, but like, you know what?
Why can't she say that Haman did it? Like, why can't she say his name?
She's going to. It's building up. We're building up, building up. Because she's building up the case against him, and then she's going to throw him on the fire.
Know that Haman
Not yet. He's suspicious. Not yet. Hold on, hold on.
But didn't they
Can you
say
repeat
you
something?
have
Shh. What? 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 One at a time.
No, but didn't he say you could take the diamonds and all that and then just kill the Jews?
Right. Okay. Yeah. And he didn't want to. Achashverosh hated him. But according to this, she said, you know what? I wouldn't have asked you because we could have been your servants and slaves. It would have been great for you. You could have been rich. And this guy is now making your life worse by wiping us all out. He didn't have to do that. It could have been fantastic for you. In other words, this guy doesn't care about you. He only cares about himself. That's basically her point at this point. She's buying him in. Okay? And she still hasn't told him who it is. He's going to ask right now, right? At this point, he's chomping at the bit to find out who this person is.
But I don't understand why he's chomping at the bit to find out who this person is. He knows that Haman wants to.
Because he loves this woman. He loves this
Yeah,
woman.
but like he can't put two and two together. Like,
Not yet, not yet. I know, it's hard to believe. He cannot put two and two together. He's suspicious. But this person, and he's Jewish, and this whole thing's going on, and that Haman wants to kill his wife. That Haman wants to kill his wife.
He knows Haman wants to kill the Jews, and Esther just said.
And he doesn't know he's Jewish yet. Okay, so he still hasn't verified who this person is. It's all happening in an instant. Give him a chance. Give the guy a chance. Oh my God, it's happening right now. You know, because hindsight's 2020.
Did she say Jew?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, she said, my Amma, she said, my Ami. He wants to kill my people, right?
Oh,
She didn't
I
say the
thought
Jewish
she
yet.
said she was Jewish.
No, it says my people. Not yet. No, not yet. Not yet. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Ki ein hatzar shover b'nezek hamelech. Because the tsar, this person who's a tsar, he's making it challenging for us. So she calls Haman tsar, the one who's the painful one, right? Ein hatzar shover b'nezek. He doesn't care what happens to you. He doesn't care how damage is going to happen to you. He's willing to wipe out all these servants and slaves and just kill them all out and weaken your kingdom. He doesn't care about you. He cares about himself. Are we together? You're following?
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand anything about the slaves. So,
Her point was, okay, someone explain to her.
Her point was that.
Shana Shriki, explain to her.
Okay, so the Jews are making, like the Jews would, if the Jews would have been alive, they could have made Achashverosh money, and like they could have worked for him, and they could have been his servants. But now Haman wants to kill the Jews, so like he's taking away from Achashverosh's money. So that's what Esther's trying to say. Like Haman is not doing you a favor; he's trying to destroy you and doing things that are better for him.
Shana Shriki, that was fantastic. Come up here and give the rest of the class. There you go, love. God willing, one day, Mr. Shem. Okay. Vayomer Melech Achashverosh vayomer leEsther Malka. He says to Vayomer HaMelech Achashverosh vayomer leEsther. He speaks to her. HaMalka, he calls her Malka still. Mi hu zeh. The A zeh hu. Who is this? Who is this person? Maybe he's stupid. I don't know. He hasn't figured it out yet. He's suspicious. Hashem Allah li balas haked. Who wants to do this in his heart? What?
He's like so dumb. Haman literally went to him and said, like, I want to kill the Jews. Why is
But she didn't say that Ami is the Jew.
Vatomer Esther.
What nation is trying to be.
He knows, because he knew.
He's trying to be thorough.
She's trying to build it up, and he didn't put two and two together at this point. Vayomer Esther Ish. By the way, from the response, he had no clue. He really had no clue. I mean, he had something was going on. He didn't realize the extent to which Haman was. It pulled it all together. He had a light bulb moment. Can we let him have that?
wasn't it because
Vayomer Esther Ish Sar Oyev Haman Hara Hazeh. It's this evil Haman.
Achashverosh says that? No,
We're gonna make the movie. We're gonna make the movie. No. Esther says it's this evil Haman, right? He's a bad person. She doesn't say he's bad because he wants to do this. He's just bad, right? This is a bad person, and now it all comes together in his mind. He didn't know the end of the story because it hadn't happened yet, and he figured, yeah, it's all there in the room. By the way, the feast is in front of him. This is important. Then, actually, this is a very major part of the. They're there in the room, lying on couches, eating this meal. Right? They used to have, this is important. You'll see in a second why. They're all lying on couches. This is royalty eating. Right? And she makes this accusation. Somebody says, this is the one, Hazeh. Zeh always means somebody is pointing at someone. That's a general concept right of the Torah. Whenever Zeh is mentioned, somebody is pointing at something. Somebody is pointing at something. Zeh Keli V'Anvuhu. Right? They pointed and said, this is my God. Right? Zeh towards the menorah. This is how to make it. Zeh towards the animals. These are the kosher animals. Whenever you see Zeh, so she points at Haman. Make no mistake. This is the one. She's accentuating it. She's now putting it all on him. And she's like, he's in this. I wasn't involved in this whole thing. He's the one who would do this to you. He only wants the malchut. And it's like, you're right. I remember I couldn't sleep. And the Mordechai situation and all the hints that came forward. This is what's happening. Okay? Esther, Ish, Sarah, Oyev, Haman, Razeh. Nivat. What does he do? He starts to shake. Haman completely didn't see this coming. He had no clue this was going to happen to him at the feast. This feast he thought was going to be the seal on his leadership, right? You had a question a second ago? Now you can ask it.
Haman was there when she accused him.
Yes, she points at him. He's right there. Three of them are there. Boop. He's the one. Yes.
So he's
What did that mean?
What? Trembled.
Tremble.
Tremble. That's how they translate it. Tremble. He's freaking out. He realizes, what am I going to do now? I'm going to tell Achashverosh, I don't, but Esther will. And I said to Esther, Achashverosh will like, you got me. He's got nowhere to turn. He's cornered over here. You know what I'm saying? He can't be caught. You know, he can't get out. So what does he do? Well, let's say you were Haman. What would you have done at this point?
Back to my life.
Run for the hills. Okay. He owns the hills. It ain't going to help.
No, he's gonna like pretend that that's not the case and
Back for his life.
Can't. Everything's there. All the evidence is there. The evidence is on him. He's going to plead for his life. To who? Or to whom?
Esther.
Esther. Esther. And this is what happens. Ba'melech kam b'chamato. The king, Achashverosh, is really, really angry. You do not want to make the king, do not make a dictator angry. Because when the dictator's angry, bad things are going to happen. Right? V'melech kam b'chamato. He gets up with absolute fury over this. Mimishta yayin. And he went El Gina to Bitan. He went out into his garden. He wanted to walk around the garden and see some flowers and calm the heck down. Because he knew that he didn't want to act irrationally, because the last time he acted irrationally, what happened? His wife died. And he loved Esther. He didn't want that to happen again. And he'd been drinking. We've been here before. And by the way, that's the 5 point, God bless you. By the way, Haman had given him advice before, which killed Vashti, which he was upset about. He's like, it's happening again. This Haman character is about to give me advice and kill another wife. He's like, come on. Even Achashverosh is getting that something's going on over here. He's there at my party, give me advice, kill Vashti. He's here at my party, give me advice to kill Esther, because she's Jewish. He's like, hello, something's going on. So he is furious. Still, he did love Haman, and he did give him a lot of power. So he goes out, let me chill out a little bit. He learned from his first mistake. Let me chill the heck out. Let me go walk around my garden a little bit and see what happens. V'Haman Amad. So as soon as he gets out, Haman gets up, because he'd been lying down there having this feast together on these cushions. Picture the scene in your mind. Amad levakesh al nafsho me Esther malka. He gets up to plead Esther, please don't do this to me. Don't have me killed. Kira hikalti alav hara me'et hamelech. He realizes that king wants to kill him. V'hamelech shav migirat bitan. The king returned. Look at this. The king returns. Look at verse 8 in chapter 7. The king returns from the garden, El Beit HaMishter, back to this room where they are. V'hayayin v'Haman nofel al hamita. Haman falls on the bed.
He just walked back in.
Achashverosh walks in, and then it says, Haman falls on the mita. What is this mita?
Oh, it's very good.
What is the mita?
Bed.
Bed. But there's no bed, they're having a meal.
The couch.
The couch. He used to have these big, beautiful couches, and they would lie on these couches, so they used to eat. Okay, they would lie there. So she's there. He falls on the mita. Which mita does he fall on? Hers. Midrash says an angel there pushed him down. Okay, by the way, Achashverosh came back very quickly. Right? They see that he walked around and he saw people chopping down trees. They're like, what are you doing? He says, we were told to do this. He goes, by Haman. So he was really upset. That's a midrash. That's a midrash. Well, basically, he went to his garden. He came back very quickly. Right? He didn't get 2 minutes out there. So they say that he saw people chopping down, his servants chopping down his trees. He's like, why are you chopping down my trees? Why are you doing this? Cutting.
Okay.
And he says, well, what are you doing? Why are you chopping down my trees? And they said, because Haman told us to do it. He's like, oh, not only is he taking over, he's already redesigning the landscape. Right? So he goes to the garden, he's like, oh my God, he's going to jump back in. As soon as he arrives, Haman falls, trips, was pushed down onto the bed. So now, here comes the big scene. 1 second, Chloe, I'm building up to a big finale over here.
Wait.
Oh God.
Wait, can you do like a 30-second pause so we can catch up?
Yes.
Okay. How do we know these midrashim know what you're talking about?
Okay, you can take or leave them. These are oral things that you can leave. There's no.
We have to know the for the midterm.
Okay. I'm about to give you the finale of it on midterms over here. Can we finish through this? Don't
Wait,
worry.
can you wait like a 10 seconds?
Yes. No, right now. Good.
So when we're done with the story, we have like a million more class left.
There's other holidays.
Not just Purim.
Hey, Chloe, you're forbidden to talk the rest of the class. Okay, just smile and take notes. That's it. You're done for the class, darling. What?
I thought this was the Machina class.
Okay, so Achashverosh. Yes, it's not an idiotic class, it's a Mechina class. Achashverosh walks in and he sees. Come on! Oh my God. You know the people interrupt a joke like, it doesn't make sense. Why is the horse running that way? I'm like, halfway through a story. I've heard this one before, Rabbi. Achashverosh walks in and he sees Haman on Esther. Oh, exactly. Oh. So now he's like, oh my goodness. Now, what does that mean to him? Well, it could be a couple of things. Number one, it could be that he's trying to seduce stuff. I'm sure he's trying to kill her. He could be trying to kill Esther, which makes sense because she's threatening his life. Okay? Asher Esther Alea, because Esther is on it. Right? It says specifically which couch it was. Esther's couch, and he's lying on it, and you think, oh, he's trying to kill her. V'yom HaMelech Hagam Lechvosh Et HaMalka. I mean, right, you're trying to kill her as well. Right? Also, this queen, as well as the last one. As soon as he said this, Haman Chafu, they covered his face.
Wait, can you
What do you mean they covered his face?
Oh, because when they put him in the dungeon.
As they walked. Are we discussing the same story here? That's what I'm going out. It's not Yosef in a dungeon.
No, like, you know, when they...
When you get the death penalty, they used to cover your face. Some say, we gotta get through this. Some say he covered his face because just the sight of his face was making him angry, so they covered his face just to calm him down, which actually worked.
Wait, they covered
Yeah.
Achashverosh's face? I'm so confused.
Why would they cover Achashverosh's
That's
face?
what I
Haman's
said. You
face.
just said to calm
They
him
covered
down.
to calm him down. They covered his face, not his own face. They covered.
That's what I'm
It's like, get out of here. You're driving me crazy. Right? I'm going to leave. It covered his face.
Why don't they just take him out of the room? I don't have to cover his
It's about Hamalka because Yasam Pi Hamelach by Yomer Chavot. Who's this guy? Charvona Echad Nesarisim Pi Hamelach. And now Charvona comes. Now Charvona is this very interesting character. We're not precisely sure who he is, but he is a person who switches allegiance. Before, he's one of those political advisors who before was on the side of Haman and was all about one of the advisors to kill Mordechai and all the rest of it and wipe out the Jewish people. And he sees the opportunity that Haman's going down, Mordechai's going up, so he's now going to switch allegiance. Now we say something interesting. We say, Chavona Zochar Tov. Remember Charvona for good. Because even he was grateful for. Even Charvona, even we should be grateful that he switched allegiance and came to our side, even though it was self-serving. Even the self-serving politicians who help us only to save their own skin, and even we should be grateful to them. Zachol Tov. Right? Even those people who are only in it for themselves should be good. So he comes forward, this Charvona, and says, you know what? What's his name? He comes forward and says, you know what? You remember that big gallows that Haman wanted to put Mordechai on? It's time to put him on it. Right? Asher diber tov al hamelach omer bebeit Haman gavor 50 ama v'yom hamelach tulu alav. You know what? Hang him on it. V'yitlo et Haman. So now Haman is hung on the 8 ala 8 asher heichil leMordechai. He prepared for Mordechai. Right? That's v'nahafchu. It all turns around. V'chamat hamelach shachacha. and the anger, actually it doesn't say that. It says the angers of the king were abated, went down, they calmed down. So two angers were laid to rest at this point. So the two possibilities over here, God or the king. Right? One is Hashem's anger against Haman was lessened because he's now dead. So Hashem Kivyachol. The other is, so it's Hashem and Achashverosh. Those are the two angers. The shachacha, because it's in the plural. The other opinion is no. It's just the king himself. And the anger over Vashti and the anger over Esther had now gone down. Right? Both of his angers over two things that were done to him by Haman were now gone down. Shachacha was forgotten. Yeah.
So Hamas is plural or shachacha?
Shachachas, two chafs. Chazal pull out the two chafs. The Gemara says, why the two letter chafs in it? Abated to go down. And that's the answer, yeah.
So Chavona, what exactly did he say?
Chavone, so he's the one who turns around like, oh, you know what? Go hang Haman. Wait a minute. You were on Haman's side 2 minutes ago.
So what exactly did he say? Did he say, oh, the tree that Aman is preparing against Mordechai is ready, do you want to hang him?
Hang him on it. Those says I did.
Oh, okay.
He was the
What's
one.
that?
So we say, Zoholatov, we're grateful to him. Why? He was just, 1 minute he was on Haman's side, now he's on Mordechai's side. He's self-serving. Zoholatov, even the people who switch sides to us only because they want to save their own skin, we are grateful to them. Okay, we got to keep going.
What's the Hebrew word for angers?
Chama, chemat. Right? Chamat HaMelech, shachacha. Chapter 8.
Wait.
I wanted to finish the Megillah today. Is that going to happen?
Who knows?
No, it's not. You know what he does? He now transfers all of the riches and everything that belonged to Haman to Esther. Now this is important. This is important. She becomes hugely rich and yeah, she becomes hugely rich and successful at this point. Or Mordechai Balafnei HaMelech, right? Because she said, by the way, all this information which I gave you came from Mordechai. And he's like, you know what? This Mordechai guy, he's the one who saved me from Big Time and Teresh. He's the one who saved me from Haman. So he's not going to, God bless you, he's not going to be grateful to him. And what does he do? Look at verse 2. Vayasar HaMelech et tabato. He takes off his ring and gives it to Mordechai. Which ring is this? Thank you. The stamp on the signet ring. Some say he took it off. He took it off Haman. God bless you, and gave it to Mordechai. Mordechai had Sam Esther's Malcha Beit Haman. But no, he had it. He gave him the ring. He now had control of the king. He took off his ring and he gave it to him. Look at verse. Exactly. Now look at verse 3. Now, the Megillah should stop over here. Right? Haman's dead. Mordechai and Esther are now rewarded. Everyone knows about it. That should be the end. And yet we have another 2 chapters. The decree is still in place. What decree is this? Please tell me. Right, it went out. So now Mordechai and Esther had to huddle together and figure out how are we going to rescind that decree. Now it's difficult for a couple of reasons. Reason number 1 is difficult is because the decree had been spread around 127 provinces. So the decree had gone a long way to many, many places. That's number 1. Number 2, how do you reverse a decree? If a decree is made, just making and trying to get it back and say, don't listen to it, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? Think very carefully. If they turn around and be like, oh, ignore that decree, is Achashverosh going to agree to that?
No.
That would be crazy. Why? Because it's going to make him, it's going to weaken his kingdom. Because every decree that is sent out by the king that they receive after this, they'll be like, oh, don't worry, in 2 months, it's not going to be applicable, we're not going to listen to it. So they're going to think of a plan which is going to keep the power base in Achashverosh's hand, or he won't agree to it. Okay? And 2, they're going to get going quickly, because this decree has gone to every nook and cranny, every little town, where there's Jews in 127 provinces. So they got to get going on this. So right there and then, she doesn't make a big party and a big parade through the streets like they just won the Super Bowl, right? She's going to be like, we've got to save the Jews. We're okay, but How about everybody else? But Tosef Esther v'taber. So she continues, she continues to talk. She's like, Haman's dead, and by the way, we got to do something. To the Belef Ne'amelech, enough, she goes and she falls in his fleet. Right? She's desperate. Right? V'tefin, she cries to Chanen and she pleads, Lo lahavir et ra Haman ha'agagi v'et machshavato achshav al yudim. So she's okay, but how about the people? How about the people? What does he do? He stretches out his sharvit, his golden scepter, to say, okay, I'm working with you. I'm going to help you get this decree that has been sent out to all the kingdoms to kill. Yeah? Mm-hmm. He's like, you got your protection. What's your idea? What's your idea? Okay? But if it's good for you, once again, this isn't just for me and my people. This is going to be good for you. Don't forget, I'm not just acting for me. I'm acting for me and my people. I'm also acting for you. By the way, they say when it comes to negotiations, the Vilna Gaon learns out from this. When you try to persuade somebody of something, you about, well, it's good for me. I want. You know what? Let's make it into a win-win. It's good for me. It's going to be good for you as well. Always make the other person feel. In the art of negotiations, you can learn out of it. You know, it's a good book. One of you can write one day. The Art of Negotiation from Esther Malka. She's like, it's good for you. It's also going to be good for me. But this is about you, first of all. It's not about me. I want to make you happy. Right? I'm going to make you happy. And if I've done well for you up to now, right? Katev, write a new decree. Now, I was going to write it. What else could he have done?
Say.
Nice. Nice. He could have just said it, but that wouldn't have been good enough. Because he just goes out, right? There's like a broken telephone that goes around, right? Don't just say, don't make this an oral command, make it a written command. Okay? Which is problematic because the first decree was written as well. Lahashiv. Now, what does she say? Lahashiv. Take back the first decree. Right? It's been sent out. It's maybe arrived in place, maybe not arrived. Go and get it back. Don't revoke it. Just bring it back. Just bring it back. So we're not going to get your kingdom. We're just returning it. We're not saying, oh, just go get the decree and pull it back. That's her plan. Et Sfarim Machshavet Haman. Right? This plan of Haman's. Oh, that's also important. She calls it the plan of Haman. As if to say, it wasn't your plan anyway. Everyone knows Haman wanted to do it. It wasn't your plan. By bringing it back, they were like, oh, Achashverosh is a good for nothing. Right? He keeps changing his decrees. He's not really a leader. It's like everyone knows it's Haman's plan. It wasn't your plan from the beginning. Right? Get it back, get it back, get it back. Yeah? So she calls it Haman's plan. Very clever. Do you see that? Very clever. This woman's a genius. She's probably one of the smartest people in Jewish history, believe me. And the holiest. Ben Hamdata Gagi. He only wanted to do it because he's an Amalekite. He wants to kill us dead. He just used, you were a pawn, Achashverosh. You were a pawn in this whole thing. He was just using you. Don't worry about it. Bring it back. It's all going to be fine. What does Achashverosh say? No. No, I'm not going to do it that way. It's not going to work. Right? Right? I can't see the destruction of my people. She keeps going. How could you do such things about my people? Esther, verse 7, Hamalka, Ula Mordechai Yudi, to Mordechai the Jew, Hine Beit Hamanatati. I gave you the house of Haman. That's his response? That's his response? I gave you the house of Haman? That's the consolation over here? What's he saying? What is he saying over here? I gave you the house of Haman.
Property or not.
Possibly. But he's answering her request. She says, bring it back. He's like, no, I'm not bringing it back. I gave you the house of Haman. Meaning, that's going to have an equal effect of what you want to do. This is my counter offer. They're negotiating. This is my counter offer. The counter offer is, everyone knows you got Haman's property. Everyone now knows you're Jewish. They're not going to mess with you. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. They won't kill you. They won't kill you. Everyone knows you're rich. Everyone knows Haman is dead. Everyone knows it's going to be spread out. It's going to be a known thing. A big thing has happened. Everyone's going to know about it, and they're going to hurt you because they know you're Jewish. They're going to leave all the Jews alone. That's his counter offer. I've done enough. They'll be fine. Don't worry about it. What's she going to say?
No.
No. I'm not relying on some piece of information, right, that may have got out and may have reached every single town and city everywhere. I'm not relying upon that. So she gives a counter offer. What's a counter offer? Okay, don't bring back the original decree. I'm not going to buy into this whole, it's going to get out there. I'll make a counter offer, and that is, right, actually it could have been Achashverosh, so I take it back. Right, and everyone knows he's been hung on the tree that was meant to be for him, so everyone knows. He said, okay, this is what you're going to do. Write this with my name on it, with the signet ring of Mordechai. That on the 13th day, this is important. Okay. Verse 1 to 8 over here were happening on the 13th of Nisan. Okay? They go back. Verse 9 to 14 took place later and tell us what actually happened, and then we return to the scene from verse 15. So we're going to take a break and tell you what the decision was. So the author says this is what they decided at that moment, that they took into action, and this was it. The decision made at this point, which you see spelled out, was that they were allowed to make a new decree, not revoking the first decree, because you couldn't revoke the first one, and they couldn't return it, but said that the Jewish people were allowed to defend themselves on that day wherever they were. The Jewish people were entitled to defend themselves. That was the best offer they could get. The best offer Achashverosh gave them, which they took, they bought into this offer, was that the Jewish people on the 13th day of the month of Adar, which was coming up, were allowed to defend themselves, and they were allowed to take up arms. The idea being that if they saw this decree, which is a strange thing to say, the people would be like, obviously, Achashverosh has their back and doesn't want them killed, and we're going to leave them alone. Which works for many people, but not all. They were still attacked on the 13th of Adar. They were still attacked on the 13th of Adar. Okay? But that was the decree. The decree was, don't rip up the first one, just make another decree, in addition to the first one, that Jews, wherever they are, on the 13th of Adar, were allowed to defend themselves and allowed to fight off their enemies. Problem number one has kind of been fixed, but problem number two is, how are we going to get this written decree out and spread to all these provinces? So what are they going to do? No, how are they going to get it quickly? Messengers, not only messengers, really fast one. So immediately Mordechai and Esther jump into action, as we see, because now we've jumped ahead, and we're going to return to the story. We've jumped ahead in the story. The Megillah itself jumps ahead, okay, to a later point, and they get the fastest camels and the fastest mule and donkeys, and they get all these decrees, stamp, right? They're going to get it going. They're going to get a whole invitation list set up quickly, right? And they spread it, and they get these fast camels, the fast, right, to jump out. That on this day, in that way, they were allowed to save themselves. Okay? Turn over page, turn to verse 11, I'm sorry. Okay? So the new decree is, this decree that was sent out, every city to organize and defend themselves, to destroy, slay, and exterminate every armed force of any people in any province, and to plunder their possessions. So we're being told that the Jewish people were allowed to defend themselves and were allowed to take the possessions of the people who are going to take them. This was like also trying to make a little bit of fear in people. Don't exterminate, because not only are you going to die, but your family's going to lose all the money as well if you try to get them, right? In a single day. In a single day, they have permission for 1 day to do this. This is a one-shot, one-day deal. That's it. That is it. Interesting, you can't fight a war and collect possessions and spoils of war in 1 day. So actually Mordechai was telling the Jewish people that they're not allowed to take any spoils of possession. When it comes to fighting Amalek, we see from the original fight of Shaul HaMelech, you cannot take any spoils of war when you fight Amalek. Other nations you're allowed. When it comes to Amalek, you can't take their stuff. Everything's going to be wiped out. Okay? So they're assuming that there's other Amalekites out there who are still going to attack, and they're being told, and they're going to take your stuff. But Mordechai was saying to the Jewish people, when he sees this decree, in 1 day, it's impossible to fight and take all the stuff. So you're not going to get to keep anything anyway. So you're not going to take any of the spoils from the war. Are we clear? So the new decree is going out soon, that the Jewish people could, and that's the best deal they could get, that they were allowed to defend themselves on the 13th day. Okay, look at verse 13. The content of the document was sent out, every province, they were published to all people. The Jews should be ready to try on that day, 13th of Adar, to avenge themselves against their enemies. Mordechai leaves, verse 15, we're back to our original story. Mordechai leaves the king's presence, right, in beautiful royal clothing, we're told again, verse 15. Remember all that? Those are all the stuff they used to decorate the palace in the first party many years before. And now he is dressed in royal garments himself. It's all come around. Vahir Shushan Sahala Vesamecha. And the entire city of Shushan was very, very happy. It was very, very happy. Okay, 1 second. Okay, okay, any questions, anything I said so far? Hopefully it's all tied up. You had your hand up a second ago? Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
Hit me.
One was just about what you said, the city of Shushan bringing out.
They were very, very joyful.
Why?
The Jews were very, very joyful over the decision. It was spread out, and Shushan was the first to find out about it. They knew what happened. They got an inside scoop. The other nation far away, so they heard out what happened. And actually, next us we're going to see the joy came in 4 forms. There's 4 joys that they had, which you'll recognize, yeah?
And then, why wouldn't the Jews fought back before? Like, even when the decree was out, wouldn't they have fought back?
Maybe they would have, but now they had a royal stamp that went with it, that they were entitled to fight back, and the king was behind
All
them.
that was just to get, like, they were already
That's the
gonna
best
do
deal
that.
they could get. But they were still going to be attacked. There were many wars we're going to see on that day, right, that happened on that day, that are going to occur.
Not so much greatness came out of this whole entire thing.
You know what? As good as it could get. As good as it could get. But they were very happy. Now they got the king on their side. Haman's dead. Yeah.
What's the reason for the 2
The
huffs in
2
Shabbat?
angers were brought down. One opinion is Hashem wasn't angry anymore at the Jewish people, and Haman was killed, and Achashverosh wasn't angry because Haman is killed. The other is no, they're both referring to Achashverosh, and Achashverosh's anger over Vashti and over Esther's possible death were abated. Those are the 2 chafta shachacha. Have a great day.